Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm doing a video, kind of a random thing that happened. I got an email from my local library about a writing contest. And I'll insert like a screenshot of the email I got just cause. I saw the email and at first I deleted it because I was like, why would I care about doing that? And then I went back and recovered it, put it back in my inbox, and I read it. And I was like, you know, this actually might be interesting. Because I'm pretty good at writing, not to toot my own horn, but I just thought maybe, you know, it might be fun to enter a little contest. But I don't want to take the time to like write an entire story or something. Not that I couldn't do that, I just don't really feel like it right now. But I do have a few different poems that I wrote a long time ago. Like the last time I touched it, because it's just in my notes app, the last time I touched it was 2022. So it's definitely been a long time. That was also the period of time that I was away at college and also pretty anxiety-ridden and depressed. That's okay. You know, it's in the past now. I've grown as a person. I'm doing actually quite a bit better, if you can't tell. But during this time period, I was doing pretty bad. I was away from my friends, I was away from my family. I wasn't interacting with people other than 20 hours a week at my job. Like, other than that, I would talk to people on Discord and talk to my boyfriend at the time, who's now my husband. Anyways, that was like a majority of my life. That was back when I was rotting on the couch, watching Twitch for several hours a day, watching every single Netflix series or documentary that came out, going through bags and bags of queso flavored Ruffles. It wasn't a great time. It wasn't as terrible as these poems may lead you to believe. I think these poems are like very much just like related to my life, not necessarily like that snapshot of my life. I do think that time period definitely is the reason that these poems got written. Not that that time period is the only time I experienced stuff like this, but just that time period was very delicate. And also, maybe I just wanted to try my hand at a hobby like poetry. And hey, honestly, they're kind of good. I don't know if it only lets you enter one in the contest or not. I'm assuming it's just one. I have a 3 or 4 right here that I'm gonna read to you. And keep in mind, these are very, I don't wanna say it's like extremely personal because they're like poems themselves are kind of up for interpretation. But also they are really personal because it's like struggles I went through in my life. I don't know the exact structure of like different types of poems, and I don't think these fall into any of those categories probably. This was literally just me writing, and this is what I came up with. So, to get started, our first one, I don't know if I should leave it up to interpretation or if I should explain like little things throughout. I'm pretty much an open book about my mental health. You can tell from other videos I've made. I'm not that nervous to talk about it, but some things I might even not know how to like explain verbally, so we'll just see how it goes. So our first one, seeing life through a glass just a little blurred, the only way to get around by floating. Spending days taking my thoughts out on my fingers. Okay, that line is actually about me picking at my fingers because that is something that I've dealt with for a lot of years. It started out in my life as biting my fingernails. I eventually stopped doing that and I just picked up picking at my fingers to replace that. I just don't think there's probably ever going to be a scenario in my life where I don't have the urge to like fidget with my fingers in some sort of way. So that's what that line's about. Aimlessly walking around a life of daydream. To be calm is a new feeling, especially when questioning the reality of things. Is this all real? Is this what life is like now? A dream? Life is a constant existential crisis. That is very true for me. Why am I here? And am I really here? Period. So this poem was definitely written about my anxiety and like how it affects me physically in the way of like, I literally feel like I'm not seeing things correctly. Like I feel like I'm seeing through a glass. Like I'm not actually just, it's so hard to explain. And obviously at the time I wrote this, I was dealing with that. And I was also dealing with it for like several months at the end of 2023, I think. I think that's when that was. I don't know exactly when I wrote this, probably 2021, 2022, based off the date of the note. But that's definitely not the only time I've experienced stuff like that. At the end of 2023, like the last few months, I was going through that so terribly that that's the reason I went to that therapist for a brief amount of time. But trying to explain that to someone is nearly impossible. So if you know what I'm talking about out there, hey, leave a comment. We vibe heavy. The therapist I saw, I didn't think was very helpful at all, and he kind of just looked at me like, why do you think like that? And I just feel like that is not helpful. But that is definitely one of the worst anxiety symptoms that I've had. Other than, of course, a panic attack. This is pretty terrible because it would go on like all day for like a long time. And I just wouldn't feel normal. And I didn't feel like I was actually living, which leads to the existential crisis part of it. Like I literally just didn't feel like I was living. Hey, but we're better now. For the most part, cross our fingers, I hope I stay better. Because that was terrible and I never want to go back to that. Okay, next one. Take a snapshot, memory, digging through my brain, memory. Is this everything I know, memory? Disappearing as the years progress, memory. Will I ever regain my thoughts, or are they just lost memories? That's kind of more of like a slam poetry type of poem. Definitely like the how you say it is going to be more impactful. But that poem is kind of just about how I'm mortified of the thought of losing my memories. I would say that's probably definitely top 5 biggest fears I have is of like one day losing my memories or forgetting about like really important things in my life or even just small things. That terrifies me. I'm so beyond scared of that. So that's what that poem's about. I'm scared to forget. The next one. My heart beats like the flutter of hummingbird wings. The pressure in my head grows like a balloon about to burst. My sight becomes shaky. I feel an overwhelming silence, and I can only focus on my impending doom. I wish I was a hummingbird with no human thoughts, to only be intent on sweet nectar. Yet I am given life with rules and expectations, like a bird in a cage. My wings will inevitably age. That last line, I kind of popped off with that. I have no recollection of writing that poem at all. The first poem I do remember writing. The second one, I don't really remember, but it seems familiar. That one I have no recollection of. And that's honestly a good poem. And it definitely describes like going through a panic attack of some sort. Once again, I don't know the exact time that this poem was written, but assuming that it was around the time I was away at college, this was likely spurred on by the panic attack I had about COVID. I have health anxiety, people, okay? Probably once a month, I think to myself that I have some sort of cancer. I convince myself of it because of something small that happens that I notice and I'm just like, this isn't right. And I just worry and worry and worry to the point that I'm like, this has to be deathly. We're working through things, guys. Okay. But I always think there's something wrong with me. Anyways, while I was away at college, that was like in the middle of peak COVID. So kind of unfortunate. And then I was also just having anxiety and like depression from being away from my family, being away from my friends. All of a sudden the world's ending with COVID. It was just a really bad mix. And I thought I was gonna die from COVID. I was terrified that I was gonna get it, not know it, give it to people that I care about. So that was another thing that terrified me. There was one night, middle of the night, dead asleep. I burst awake, can't breathe at all, having a panic attack, thinking that I have COVID because I can't breathe, which in fact was just the panic attack. Convinced myself I have COVID. I'm like freaking out. My husband's trying to comfort me. I'm like, no, I'm literally dying. I need to go to the hospital. And that's when I went to my doctor and I said I need help. And they gave me hydroxyzine, which is not anything crazy. It just like makes you tired and go to sleep. Actually, I guess that would have been before that. I guess I had something else happen before that I went to the doctor, because I think during that situation, I had the medicine already. So I popped one of those and eventually calmed down and went back to sleep. But it was unfortunate because I had to wake up at 6 a.m. to go to work the next day. So that was a really terrible night. I will say if my husband was not there to comfort me and take care of me, I literally don't know what I would have done. Like, it was the worst. It was so bad. So, love you, bae. Okay, this last one is a love poem that I wrote about my husband. He was my boyfriend at the time of writing this, but when I looked over it a little bit ago, it's like super sweet, but it's also realistic because not everything's gonna go your way. Not everything's gonna be perfect, and that's fine. That's literally what the human existence is. If you think anyone in the world has a perfect life, you need to seek help as well, because that is not true. Okay, well, I guess I named this one Tanner, so it has like that written on there. Okay. What can I say about my love? I can say that he changed my life for better and for worse, but that is the thing about love. Emotions are like the world, ever changing. Sometimes they hurt, while others will leave you euphoric. Give in to the pain and into the joy, for feeling these emotions at all are worth everything. To know that you truly care about someone enough to voluntarily experience the pain and love is to be love of the purest degree. What can I say about that other than I popped off writing that? You know, my husband probably doesn't even know about this poem. So if he ever watches this video, which he probably won't because he doesn't support my content, I'm kidding about that, of course. I think it is important to realize though that like loving someone is not going to be perfect because you're literally putting your trust in the other person to love you, care about you, take care of you, so on, when they don't think the same way as you, which is something I struggle with because I think I'm the smartest person to walk this planet. And if Tanner doesn't do something the exact way I would do it, I'm like, why would you do that? You should have done it this way. And hey, we're not the same person, but that's a good thing. You don't want to be the same as your partner. If you get along on every single thing, it's kind of like, what's the point? I love Tanner. I would do anything for him. I think he feels the same way. But there are times that we're going to argue. Last night, we argued. That's just how it goes. That doesn't mean I love him any less. We're just different people living our lives as individuals, but together. So there's gonna be stuff that comes up. But you have to realize as well, in your relationship, are you overall happy? I can say, overall, I'm happy. I'm chilling. You'll go through things and you'll grow and you'll learn more stuff about your partner and more stuff about your relationship with your partner. And while we're young, we have been through a lot of stuff that we've learned from, a lot of stuff that's changed us. And that's good, that's fine. We're literally ever-changing creatures in an ever-changing world, just like I said in that last poem. So that's all my poems that I've written. I don't know like how long the course of those being written was, but I just know that it's been at least 3 years since they've been touched. Leave in the comments which poem was your favorite and why. If you don't have a library card, you need to get one. There's so many benefits to having a library card. They have so many things at the libraries, so many resources. Read books for free, people. Come on now, that's been there forever. New stuff, you can download the Libby app, connect your library card, read books on your phone, on your iPad, on your Kindle. Come on now, y'all. That's crazy, it's 2025. Get your library card. Anyways, that's all the poems. I'm gonna enter that contest. We'll see what happens. I'll let you know if I win or if anything ever happens from it. I don't have super high hopes, but I just thought this could be fun. And I already have the content for it, so I might as well just put it out there. So that's the end of this video. I'll see you guys next time with something else. Hope you guys have a good day. Bye. Unrelated, but check fit check. Got the high top Converse, which I've been trying to wear more recently. Yeah. Got my camouflage pants that I wore to the chapel concert. And I haven't worn them since, so I'm wearing them. Polaroid shirt that I cut off myself. And a good attitude, which I wear all the time. Bye.